Long distance cycling is a sport whereby performers may come under pressure to take performance enhancing drugs. Discuss the performance enhancing drugs that cyclists may consider taking and evaluate the costs and benefits of such action. And this is a 9 mark question. For our two AO1 marks, we simply need to show some knowledge of different performance enhancing drugs that can be taken by a cyclist. We've got some examples here for stimulants and peptide hormones. If you've discussed other PEDs such as steroids, then that's okay as well, but it might be more difficult to relate that to cycling later on in the question. So for stimulants, we can say these are drugs that have an effect on the central nervous system and that they increase mental or physical alertness. Peptide hormones, such as EPO, help stimulate the production of red blood cells. So we're just making some simple statements here to show some knowledge. For our two AO2 marks, we can start to link the drugs that we're discussing to the sport of cycling and maybe talking about the benefits that they can have on cyclists. So cyclists have to take part in events which can last for weeks on end, and fatigue is inevitable. So we can discuss how stimulants can help to fight against fatigue and produce energy and alertness throughout the race. So what we're saying here is that if a cyclist is taking part in the Tour de France, for example, and it takes place over a number of weeks, then they're going to have times that they're really tired. And if they wake up first thing in the morning and they've taken stimulants, they're suddenly going to feel a lot more awake and a lot more alert and ready to go in the race. Taking EPO and producing additional red blood cells means that more oxygen can be delivered to the working muscles during the race, and this will result in less fatigue and a greater aerobic capacity. So taking EPO basically means that your muscles are having more oxygen delivered to them throughout the race. So that is definitely going to result in you getting less tired and being able to go for longer. For our 5 AO3 marks, we can evaluate some of the costs and benefits of taking performance enhancing drugs for cyclists. So we could say taking drugs will increase performance and give more chance of wealth and fame, potentially leading to a happier lifestyle. Cycling is renowned for being a sport where many performers take performance enhancing drugs. So some performers will feel that they need to take PEDs in order to level the playing field. So if you're on a start line and you think lots of other people have taken drugs and you haven't, then you may feel that you're at a massive disadvantage. So some cyclists may feel they have to do that to give themselves a chance. Taking PEDs is simply cheating and immoral, so it goes against the contract to compete within sport and it can never be justified. PEDs such as peptide hormones have negative side effects such as the thickening of blood, which could lead to an increased chance of heart attacks and strokes. So putting this risk in place, a possible heart attack, maybe it's not worth it to take performance enhancing drugs. And finally, being caught taking performance enhancing drugs can lead to fines, bans, and reputational damage. And this could have a damaging effect on cyclists, both financially and mentally. You might also mention that drugs testing takes place very regularly nowadays within cycling and within other sports. So there is a very high chance that a performer taking performance enhancing drugs is going to get caught.